Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And in this very short episode, we're going to take a look at the Democratic Party and its hypocrisy. Not just once, but several times. Which when they say one thing and then say the complete opposite, or do one thing having said the complete opposite, or believe one thing having said they believe the complete opposite. Where do they draw a line in the sand, and from which side? Do they take a stand? Are they even standing? Who knows? A couple of little things. We'll take a look at them. It's funny how these things come to light, isn't it? Other people's journalism. I'm only highlighting it. But let's have a look at these and discuss. So if you cast your mind back nearly 2 years when Biden was in the run-up to the election, he was talking about the importance of democracy and how he must get the vote out, and then he won, probably very controversially, with probably faked results and locking out counters and suddenly finding 30,000 votes under a chair and allegedly things like that. But they kept pushing that democracy was important. Well, actually, they don't care about democracy. They've got agendas to push. Now, the overturning of Roe v. Wade is a political hot potato, and it's something that the Democrats are against and that the Republicans are for, in theory. In fact, only 51% of Republicans are for it. But they're supposedly the party that's pushing this. But just over half want it, of the Republicans. So they could be said that they are pushing what their supporters believe, but their supporters aren't the whole country. Now, a new poll shows 50% of Americans do not want Roe v. Wade overturned, and only 51% of Republicans want it overturned. If Roe v. Wade were overturned, it would end the federal rule that makes women's rights to it, this procedure, protected by the Constitution. And that way it goes down to state level. Now, I know how a lot of Americans feel about state control, and they feel it's more democratic to have it at state control where you can vote out people. The trouble is, at state control, you have states that are controlled by one party. And so this will come in, and it's unlikely ever to be voted out. Meanwhile, women in that particular state have no further access to it, and we've looked at some of the cases here, R and I, where that procedure would be banned even in cases of R and I, when even genetically damaged babies, abnormal, monstrous fetuses as a result of this, but they'd still have to be grown to full term because of the rules. It will increase poverty, it will increase misery, it will increase unwanted children, because some religious right has managed to convince people that they speak to God and they want this. But it's not democratic. And it's okay for the women in those states who've got the wherewithal and the money and the availability to fly out, go to a different state, different country, and get the procedure done. But for a lot of people that won't be an option, and it's going to be horrendous. But that's not what this video is about. No, we're looking at the hypocrisy. We've already mentioned the hypocrisy about the democracy angle. And it comes down here, and they've done a poll, and 50% say no, but that's including 22% saying they're undecided. But 50% have said no. But when you ask the Republicans, only 51% of Republicans want it, but they're the ones that are supposedly strongly for it. So it makes you feel that, it's not as clear cut as you'd want. But again, I'm not. This video isn't going to be on about that. We are talking specifically about the hypocrisy. So what we want to look at now is Kamala Harris. So here's what Kamala says. How dare they tell a woman what she can do with her own body? Kamala attacks Republicans and calls overturning Roe v. Wade a direct assault on our freedom, and the rights of all Americans are under attack. How dare they tell a woman what she can do with her own body, says Kamala Harris. And remember, last year she was standing up there saying you must take precautions, you must get a jab in the arm, you must get the vac, you must get the vac, you must herd immunity, you must do this. We're telling you. But now it's how dare they tell a woman what she can do with her own body. Make your mind up. Sounds a bit hypocritical to me. Says here, Kamala Harris came out guns blazing. She hasn't got guns. So anyway, it says here, Kamala Harris came out guns blazing during remarks after a leaked Supreme Court document showing a draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade. Those Republican leaders who are trying to weaponize the use of law against women, well, we say, how dare they? Yeah, because you've never used law against people, have you? How dare they tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her own body? How dare they try to deny women their rights and their freedoms? Just make sure you put your jab in your arm first. She is an absolute hypocrite. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole piece. I'm only pointing out the hypocrisy. And then, of course, there's Joe. Sleepy Joe. Let's have a look at Joe. Right, so here's the Joe angle. And remember that Joe's been up and he's been moaning at the Republicans for repealing this. They filled the Supreme Court with their men so they could get this through. Blah, 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 blah. All the things that Joe's going to say because Joe doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't know his own name, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing, doesn't know how to operate a shoe. His memory's gone. His memory's bad. And we know that because Tucker Carlson took a wonderful opportunity yesterday to remind people on what Joe has previously said about Roe v. Wade. Biden concluded Roe had gone too far. Tucker Carlson reminds the president of how he voted against Roe v. Wade in 1982 and slams SCOTUS leaks saying people could get hurt because of it. Fox News host Tucker Carlson called out the president for previously voting to allow individual states to overturn Roe v. Wade. So he was against it, and yet now he's for it. Now, to be fair with Joe, the Alzheimer's is in. He probably can't remember 1982 or 20 past 8 this morning. So it's unfair to expect him to have remembered it. But it's funny how he's completely volte-face about the whole thing. It's probably, there's a hand up his back operating his mouth, But this is what happens, Kamala is the ventriloquist and Joe's the dummy. Or possibly Barack Obama was sitting there with two dummies. I think that's nearer the truth, isn't it? Barack has got two dummies. But they're hypocrites. They're absolute hypocrites. They say one thing, they voted against it, now they're saying it's for it. You got Kamala, you got hypocrisy, you've got them wanting democracy but not actually listening to democracy. They're all full of it. Anyway, this was supposed to be a short video, and I'm going to make it a short video by stopping this now, coming up, rounding off and clearing out. Well, what do we think? Do they know what they're talking about? Do they know how they feel? I don't think so. Hypocrisy on the left is a very common thing. We've all seen it before. None of us are surprised. I'm not surprised. You're not surprised. Nobody's surprised. So, we just put it down and say, what the hell, They don't know what they're talking about, or they do know what they talk about. So it's a case of, are they stupid, or are they very, very clever and deliberately leading us astray by making it look like they don't. No, they're not clever. They're not clever, They're dumb. Anyway, I shall round off there. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and goodbye.